All right, it is a little late for this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Happy Halloween. I am recording here late Thursday night, which really means you're probably going to listen to this Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday morning, at which point you will have realized the best part of Halloween is I did sometime around 14 or 15, is actually the day after when you wake up with more candy than you are going to have for the next 365 days until you come back to this very moment a year from now. So congrats to you. Congrats to me because I have more candy for you. And here's how it goes. On this episode alone, a stacked, sugary episode, we have fake trades. We have midseason awards with two-time Super Bowl champion, former Patriots tight end Christian Fauria. We have a 4-minute drill with another Christian Gonzalez, who, I'll be frank with you off the top, not our best 4-minute drill. Not because I didn't come prepared. I actually outsourced some questions to teammates in the locker room today before we went outside and did the video separate, because all the videos now during media access are outside the locker room, stuff he didn't ask for. And Christian being quiet and typically a little short is just his personality. I wanted to be maximum prepared. We started great. The middle's the ending was pretty good. So that is at the end. And before we get to all of that, I think what you will find is the sweetest part of all. It's a positive Drake Maye update, because while I recorded with Christian Fauria yesterday and Christian Gonzalez later today, I waited to do this intro Thursday night after the Patriots released their latest practice report. And on that practice report, it said, for the second straight day, Drake Maye is limited with a concussion he sustained last weekend against the Jets. And that part is not the good news. The good news is at practice today, he participated in opening stretching and initial drills, which is an upgrade from Wednesday when he was also limited. But Wednesday, as I asked Drake Maye before practice, last question he got, is Drake limited to 30 minutes? Will he practice longer than 30 minutes? And Gerard said, no, he will not practice longer than 30 minutes. And the reason I asked that is because players in the concussion protocol have 5 phases. And phase number 3 says players can be involved in football-specific activities, but they cannot practice longer than 30 minutes. So once Gerard said no, that meant Drake, even though he was going to be limited later that day in practice, was in phase 3 because the time limit said that's exactly where he was. So the team on Wednesday did not include him in initial stretching. They didn't include him in initial drills. They waited to start his 30-minute window until after the media had left and practice really begins. And we can't say what plays they're running and who's running where and what package and all this different stuff. So when Drake was a participant today for that opening part and they started his window earlier, that to me said there is no window, baby. He should be, is very likely in phase 4, which means there's 1 left to go. And 5 is just basically clearance from a team physician, and then an independent neurological consultant who has to verify that all of his signals and his signs and his neurological responses are back to a baseline, meaning when all the players do this neurological testing before the season, when they're not concussed, you get back to that same baseline performance. So I want to be clear. I have no idea whether Drake Maye will play Sunday in Tennessee. I don't know how he feels right now. I don't know how he's going to feel tomorrow. But theoretically, it is possible that Drake Maye could be cleared as soon as Friday, when the Patriots will have 1 more practice. They'll release a practice report, and they could wait to announce. They cannot announce. They could announce right away. I don't know. Drake Maye will speak tomorrow morning. I will not be in there. I have one of my best friends' wedding. I'm actually officiating on Saturday, so I'm going to go up to Vermont on Friday. But you will hear from the reporters down there. Follow our guy, Doug Hyde, and we will hear about Drake Maye. But as it stands right now, things are trending positively. And if I had to guess, I think he will play Sunday at Tennessee. So big update there. Okay, before we get to the midseason awards, which Christian was great, so was Gonzalez, I wanted to hit on the fake trades, which I cooked up and published today at the Boston Herald. And before we get to that, I was thinking, regardless of whatever happens over the next, I don't know, however many hours until we get to Tuesday at 4 p.m., because yes, the NFL's trade deadline is on Election Day. No deal that the Patriots are going to make is going to be bigger than the one they made in August, shipping Matt Judon to Atlanta. So I said, okay, how's Matt Judon doing? I've not checked. I think I watched 1 Falcons game, and that was it. Maybe week 2 against the Eagles. And when I looked up his stats yesterday to write this column that will come out tomorrow on Friday, I was stunned. Matt Judon right now, when you look at his sacks, his tackles for loss, and his quarterback hits outside of those sacks. So just when you hit the quarterback, you haven't sacked them, but they overlap in the modern box score. He is tracking after 8 starts. And when you prorate this over a full 17-game season, to have less production by sacks, tackles for loss, and quarterback hits than he had last year when he played just 3.5 games for the Patriots. He has 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 quarterback hit. That's it. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, the Patriots absolutely crushed the Matt Judon trade. I've seen enough to steal from our Election Day theme next week. That's it. A 3rd-round pick for what will be prorated as basically 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, and 2 quarterback hits is insane. And his underlying metrics aren't good either. This isn't like, oh, he's getting close. He's not just getting there. Among edge rushers with at least 150 pass rushing snaps, Matt Judon has won on his pass rushes 7.3% of the time, according to Pro Football Focus. He's averaging barely a pressure and a half per game. And his Pro Football Focus grade for run defense, which we can all debate and meddle with and give tiny bit of salt, is tracking for a career low, not to mention the 3 penalties. This is not to bag on Matt Judon at all. It's to say, when you assess how the Patriots did trading, don't just look at what I think will probably be KJ Osborne for a conditional 8th-round pick or Josh Uche for 2026 6th-rounder. The biggest move they had to make, they've already made, and they got an A. This is like looking at their past draft, and you can be disappointed in Jalen Polk. I am. I'm bummed that Javon Baker has 6 offensive snaps in 8 games, and Caden Wallace got hurt, and Lane Robinson struggling. But none of that matters remotely close. Even if you stack up all of those picks and all those players and all that lack of production, if the Patriots hit on Drake Maye, that draft gets an A because that 3rd overall pick matters that much. The quarterback position matters that much. And with respect to all the other players on the roster, Matt Judon, even if he stinks right now, the value he had to net a 3rd-round pick is going to be more than if you stacked up. They traded Jonathan Jones and Kendrick Bourne and KJ Osborne. This is me giving away my fake trades. But there is one where the Patriots add, and the Patriots crushed that. They won the Matthew Judon trade. Hat tip to them. Okay, let's get to the fake trades. But first, Prize Picks. Guys, if you haven't been listening, you have just been absolutely missing out, and you will get a biggest disappointment on our midseason awards later because Prize Picks has over 10 million members and billions of dollars. That's billions with a B in awarded winnings, making it America's #1 daily fantasy sports game. And it's the simplest out there. You pick more or you pick less on a bunch of player stat projections every single week. You could go to your guys on your fantasy team or people on the Patriots or players the Patriots are going to face. You look at the stat that they've been given and you go, that'll be more or less, and you build a lineup. And that's it. And right now, Prize Picks is offering access via Venmo, which means it's safe, secure, and easy. That's how I have it connected to my Prize Picks. You can run your game all season long on Prize Picks, which still, if you join now, and you haven't done this yet, you absolutely should. Enter code CLNS for a $50 bonus, 50, when you play your first just $5 lineup. Again, that's a $50 bonus for just your first $5 lineup. You can pick your fantasy players, again, Patriots, whatever you want, all in less than 60 seconds. Download the app today, as I did. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly with your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code CLNS and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Okay. Here are my Prize Picks of the week. Very quickly. Saquon Barkley, more than 0.5 rushing/receiving touchdowns. Meaning, if Saquon scores a touchdown against the Jags, you hit more than. So more than touchdowns, 0.5 touchdowns for Saquon Barkley. Patrick Mahomes, Monday Night Football, they're facing a high-pressure, blitzing Bucs defense. You know what that's going to give him? Running lanes. More than 20.5 rushing yards for Patrick Mahomes Monday Night Football. Watch with the Manning cast. Belichick's actually very good. All right, Patriots fake trades. These first 3, very similar. Patriots shipping out a veteran, getting a late-round pick. Number 1, Kendrick Bourne, and a 2025 7th-round pick to the 49ers for a 2026 5th-round pick. So essentially, the Patriots net the value of a 6th-rounder in this deal, something the Panthers failed to do when they dealt Deontay Johnson earlier this week to Baltimore, giving a 7th and getting a 6th in return. The Patriots here are giving up a 7th and getting a 5th in return. So you go, okay, well, how would Kendrick Bourne? That's more than Deontay Johnson did. The years are key here because it's a very common argument. Belichick did this earlier when he was criticizing the Josh Uche deal, that if a draft pick dealt or acquired is, we'll call it 2 years, 2 drafts out from now, that pick is worth around less than the one that's closer. Okay, so a 2025 3rd-round pick is really the same as a 2026 2nd-round pick. Okay, later it is, the lower the value. And so here they argue to the Niners, hey, you need a receiver now. You still get to keep the same number of picks in this draft. Okay, actually, you add one. We just want a better asset down the road. And the Patriots, rebuilding, have all the time in the world. So they say, yeah, we'll wait an extra year for the best asset in this deal, and they give up Kendrick Bourne. Would I do this deal? No, because the Patriots need leadership right now. They need it in the locker room. They need it on offense. They need it on defense, in meetings, on the road. And Kendrick was really the first to spill the beans on this amid some other comments in other places. But it's a young, immature receiver room. I'm just saying, if you need to outline a deal to find an ideal trade partner, someone willing and interested in taking in Kendrick Bourne, with the Niners were back in the summer, this is how you do it. And you get a higher draft pick by saying, okay, kick it back here. Okay, what do you care about a 5th round pick in 2026? But you could have 18 months to recoup. Give that to us. We'll send you Bourne and a 7th rounder this year. The Patriots have 3, and let's call it a deal. Trade number 2. This is a simpler version of the same deal. KJ Osborne and a 2025 7th round pick for the Chargers 2026 6th round pick. So here's the deal. Osborne's underlying numbers are terrible. I get that he had 615 receiving yards on average over his last 3 years in Minnesota. This is not Minnesota. He's not in Kansas anymore. Okay. This is a receiver who's not playing for a bad team with maybe the worst receiving core in the league. The Chargers still need a receiver. And you could put even a condition on this pick to say, hey, if he averages 4 catches per game, which would be second on the Chargers right now, bump that up around. But the Patriots here are after their original 6th round pick from the J.C. Jackson trade. And I think I said 2026 6th rounder. What I want is this year's 6th round pick. So the Patriots last year gave up a 2025 6th rounder for J.C. Jackson and a 7th round pick. They get this back because we know the Patriots picks are going to be at the top of every round and therefore more valuable than anyone else further down below them. So this is what they get. It's a pick swap. Osborne goes for something similar to Deontay Johnson. The reason being the Chargers' desperation. And maybe they say, hey, you can have the best of our 3 7th round picks. Trade number 3, Jonathan Jones to the Vikings. This one's simpler. Straight up for a 6th round pick. Jonathan Jones is 31. He's in a contract year. He is still playing starting caliber football. But here it's more about fit. Brian Flores knows he needs a little bit of help in that secondary. Teams are not figuring out Minnesota, but you need depth in that kind of defense and over the wear and tear of a 17-game season. The Patriots have taken good care of Jonathan Jones, who played just 30 snaps last weekend against the Jets, and before has been limited and rotating in with Marco Wilson and Marcus Jones. So here they say, hey, we have a refreshed Jonathan Jones that you could play at outside corner, nickel, even safety if you want. And he knows that system. Brian Flores was here for almost 2 decades before he went to Miami and then to Pittsburgh and more recently to Minnesota. So the trick here again is this is a 2026 6th rounder. I know none of you are thrilled about that. I get that. You don't need to yell in all caps in the comments or email me about this. But the reason this one is a 2026 6th rounder is not, again, because he's 31 and in a contract year. The Vikings don't have any picks in 2025. It's a 1st rounder and 2 5ths. And that's it. And they're not giving up a 5th for Jonathan Jones. Last trade, and then we'll get to everything else. This is where the Patriots get a player. And he's someone that if you were listening pre-draft, not this spring, but 2 years ago, or 18 months, whatever. Emmanuel Forbes was a name I brought up a lot. And Emmanuel Forbes, when his name is brought up now, it's because he's bad at football. And despite a regime change where out goes Ron Rivera, in comes Dan Quinn, Adam Peters, the new GM, Forbes is still buried on the depth chart in Washington. This is a 6'1" corner with 4.35 speed who tied or set the record for pick sixes in the SEC a couple of seasons ago. Immensely talented. The issues are twofold. One, he's very, very skinny, like pushing 170 pounds. Very lanky dude. Number 2, he stinks at tackling. Okay. But if I'm the Patriots and go, okay, we can do the same version of the trades I just proposed. We give up a 5th rounder. You give us Forbes, who has most, if not all, the money left in his rookie first round contract guaranteed. You give us Forbes and a 6th round pick. So it's a pick swap trade. We've moved back and get the player. We'll take it. And the reason I think the Patriots might be interested in this more than other teams, who again, Forbes might be cut, might not be. He's buried in the depth chart, barely played 100 defensive snaps this year. He's actually a healthy scratch 1 week. But A, the talent is there. B, his best game as an NFL player was in New England a year ago. When the Commanders came in and won 20-17, he had 3 pass breakups because the Patriots were trying to pick on him and just couldn't. He only gave up 2 catches on 7 targets. And in-person performances tend to leave an impression on front offices. It's not unique to the Patriots. This happens all over the place. But if you want to think about it, Wes Welker was one of those, he's a pain in our ass, we can't defend him, let's get him. Okay, plenty of examples in the Belichick era. This is another one. They say, we saw it. We trust our coaching. We've done a good job with young corners, but they're just a little small. Okay, let's add a bigger guy who we don't need right now and can maybe ideally put opposite Christian Gonzalez, who ironically went after Forbes in that same draft. And a roll the dice, picks up, who cares, kind of trade. So there you have it. 4 fake trades. Upcoming now, midseason awards with Christian Fauria. After that, Christian Gonzalez. And then we'll get out of here. I would highly encourage you to listen to Christian Fauria's podcast, Coach to Win, which we had a little technical glitch and he made his own pitch. So we hit on it and then got away from it because that part of the episode was lost. But afterwards, he gets all the football stuff. It's great to hear him back in the airwaves. And again, his podcast is Coach, the number 2 Win, with a lot of great guests. Coming up, Christian and Christian. Okay, it's not often we have 2-time Super Bowl champions on the pod, but when we do, we like them handsome and dancing, which we have Christian Fauria for the folks on YouTube, giving a little extra for free.
That little intro was pretty nice, man. Like, I mean, I was just, whenever you're on hold and you call somebody, they put you on hold, and sometimes you get some really good music that they provide you while you're on hold, and sometimes you're dancing, sometimes you're not. That kind of made me dance. Good job by you. Is
the music good though when you're on hold? I feel like you either get sent back a couple centuries and it's classical, or you have some kid screwed around in GarageBand and the CEO was like, yeah, that'll be our call waiting. And you're screaming, representative.
There's I think it's AT&T. I can't remember what it is. It's one of these places I call a lot and I'm always on hold. And I remember one time I was trying to record it because I wanted it as a ringtone. It was so catchy. I just couldn't get it out of my head.
Oh, good. Are you on hold a lot? You said they're one of these places you're calling a lot?
It must be like something to do with healthcare. It's going to have to do with insurance or something like that. Somebody's always screwing something up. This provider won't pay. This person says it's their fault, and you're trying to connect the dots. Neither side is talking. They just try to make your life miserable. I mean, that's what it is. It's a different show, though. We'll get into healthcare and all that stuff maybe at a later date. Maybe during the off season, we can do a whole healthcare discussion.
Yeah. That will be like for the Office fans out there, Creed Bratton's blog that Ryan set up, and he, unbeknownst to him, was not online. So we'll just have that show. We won't hit record, but if you want to vent, we can absolutely do that. What do you like about the Pats?
Here's what I like. I think the Stevenson is obviously so unbelievably impressive to me. That would be my number one guy. When I watch him, I always think about the defensive corner that has to come up and play contain, right? Who is unblocked. And the offensive coordinator, Van Pelt, says, we have everybody blocked. You got to make one miss. And this poor slap is got to run up and try to make contact with a guy that is untackleable. See if I can say that again.
Do you see the stiff arm he gave? Speaking of corners and slaps, DJ Reed, first quarter, he's like shimmying outside, and DJ Reed's already falling on himself. He gives him like what looked like almost a polite stiff arm. It was a tap on the head. I tweeted out this clip. He's like, "Oh, sorry, excuse me, goodbye," and pushes him further into the dirt. Yeah. He's
so good. And imagine because even if a play is unblocked, even in the beginning of the season, he makes something out of nothing. He's at worst case scenario for him, he's getting back to the line of scrimmage. And so I'm good with 2nd and 10, 2nd and 12. You're like, holy crap. But he is getting back to the line of scrimmage, even though he gets hit 4 yards in the backfield. Guys are getting unblocked. Linebackers are shooting the gap. He like stones one guy, stiff arms another guy, slips another one, sidesteps this way, and then he's going forward. And he's so strong. His only problem was his fumbles early on that probably messed with his confidence, but he's absolutely a stud. I love him. The other guy that's starting to kind of over the past 3 to 4 weeks has been Booty. He's been showing up just slowly. First, it's the go route over here. It's the go route over there. And you're like, wow, it's the touchdown, the Drake Maye touchdown. And you're like, wow, they're starting to build a relationship. Those guys are, Booty's identified, Stevenson, obviously. And then defensively, for me, it's Gonzalez. He's just okay. He's more than advertised.
We touched on a lot. Let's hand out some awards. But before we do that, let's hand out $20 to the people. I'm sure you like finding $20. Do you ever do that in your pant pocket? You pull out a 20 you forgot about in there?
Ooh, that's awesome. It's like showing up to class when they bring out the VCR and there's no test or no class. It's the best.
Okay, this show just got 30 years older with that comment. We were committing balls. There are a large chunk of the audience no idea what you're talking about. But speaking of free $20, folks who want to go to a game, could be the Patriots or the Celtics are starting up. And I would encourage you to go to an NBA game if you've never had before. And look, I grew up in a college basketball town. Stores Connecticut. Basketball is all I knew, the energy. And if you want to go to the Celtics or a college game or see the Pats play the Rams or the Bills or the Chargers later this year, go to Game Time because they're giving you $20 free if you download the app today and use code CLNS. That gives you $20 off your first purchase. You can go to any of these games with this guarantee. It'll be the lowest price you find for that game or that show or that concert because that's what a Game Time is about. And if you find a lower price deal elsewhere, they'll credit you 110% of the difference. That's guaranteed with the lowest price. You find it at Game Time Picks. Only incredible deals. No pesky fees at the end. It's all in pricing right up front. So download the Game Time app today. Create an account. Use code CLNS for that free $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Actually, it's award time. So I think I know your answer to this, and I think I have the same answer. The Patriots MVP at the midseason point, yes or no, is Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, for me it is. I mean, but you could. I mean, yeah, I'll stick with him. That's crazy. That's the only, and he had a rough start to the season. But yeah, he is your most talented player on the team in my book.
I agree, and. Well, the talent is going to go to a guy that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But it is amazing, as you said, that this guy fumbled 4 times in 4 games. And you were looking at him as the MVP because the other numbers here are 5 touchdowns, far and away more than anyone else on the team. He has had 27 tackles that he's broken or dodged. And he's averaging, Christian, over 3.1 yards per carry after contact.
Yeah,
so we're talking about an offensive line that's not creating holes for him. And he says, that's okay. I will still average more than, all due respect, probably, an old teammate Antoine Smith had, once upon a time in those rougher years, tougher lines. He's saying, I will do
now
that.
Who's going back?
Yeah. Now I just got older. I think I popped the gray hair over here. But he's basically it's 3.19, 3.2 yards per carry after contact is an insane number. Not
amazing.
Catches, third
it's
in the
amazing.
Team. He's creating in a way that you see it Drake Maye, because we're all watching the quarterback, elevate the offense. I can do something when nothing is available. That's what Ramondre's been doing from week 1.
Imagine if you didn't have him. Imagine if you didn't have him. Those numbers are unbelievable. I'm fine with numbers. I think that is remarkable what he's able to do. Yards after contact, initial hits, he shreds them. He goes upfield. The dude is such a special back with such a combination of speed and balance and toughness. It's just a great back, man.
All right, offensive player of the year. This is harder. We got to take Stevenson off of the table.
Oh, he's
look
off.
At the other players.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I got one.
You know how they do MVP and Lamar Jackson won, but someone else gets offensive player of the year because you just can't double up. It's stupid, but we're going to abide by the rules here. Who do you got?
Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry is my best offensive player. It's not just because it was tight end weekend, whatever the stupid thing was. He's the most reliable. He's the most reliable out of anybody on that offense, other than more than Stevenson. I mean, he has some issues penalty wise, which I wish he would, clean up. But
starts Miami.
The dude just catches everything they throw to him. He's always in the right spot. He's just reliable. I mean, he's just so reliable. Imagine you can't throw the ball to the outside. So, and your only real weapon is Hunter Henry and Hooper. I wish they'd involve him a little bit more, but for me, it's easily Hunter Henry.
Spoken like a true former tight end.
Well, what do you think it is? Who's the other option?
Look, we are 2 for 2. And it's more the Hooper comment than the Henry one. Though when you look at their efficiency numbers, how often are you staying on schedule? What are your yards per play? They're much better when Hooper and Henry on the field versus when they go to 11 personnel, which is problematic because Pop Douglas is their best receiver, and he's the guy coming off the field for Austin Hooper, but that's a conversation for another day. Because I had the same answer for the same reasons. It's Hunter Henry, most consistent, most reliable. And you saw it early in that final game-winning drive against the Jets. That's where Jacoby Brissett is going. It's tight coverage. It's man-to-man. It's the Jets saying, we have dudes and you don't. And Jacoby Brissett throws to Hunter Henry, who makes the catch 12 yards first down. But as a tight end, what are you seeing when you watch him that maybe some other folks are missing either at the top of the route, when he's blocking, the tempo of his routes? Like, what do you like about his game?
This is the beauty of really all positions. And in my opinion, speed is so overrated. What's the most important thing, I'll just say, in that position is the ability to understand voids. and spacing and movement of the defense and not running into coverage and turning and settling or shifting when you need to shift. You're right in front of the quarterback. He's looking right at you. So if you run into coverage, you're just going to make it easy. Stop 3 yards short, shift to the left. He'll find you. That is his greatest gift. You know, you assume that he can catch the ball. It's a plus. He's not a great blocker. He's not really doing much damage on the edge. That's not what he is. But he gets in the way and he's willing. That's important. But his greatest asset is his ability to find voids and space. That's it. All those other shifty slot receivers, they all had the same thing. They were just faster at it. But that to me is his greatest asset. Kelsey does it. They just know where to go. They just, like, someone tells me, and then what the next level is the freedom that you get when you share a brain with the quarterback. Hey, listen, I know it says 10 yards and out, but why would I do that? I know you see the same thing. I'm going to stop 3 yards short. I'm going to shift to the left. Find me. Easy. That's why he's great.
They're running so many like those little stick concepts, right? Go up, you call it a button hook, turn right, and it's usually for spacing against zone or a little out versus man. And teams know that. So say, okay, if they're going to do that at 8 yards, that's where you'll either take it maybe 45-degree angle up the field or go a little bit shorter, like you're talking about, because, you know, Travis Kelce is not what he was athletically. Everyone can see that. But he's still one of the most dangerous weapons in the NFL because he has the freedom to freelance against zone coverage. And I think that is the next level, that is elite. That is elite. That's with all the receivers too. Because can you imagine if every receiver literally ran the route exactly how it was on the sheet? No one, you would get your numbers, but you wouldn't do anything special. What the ability to adapt and improvise has got to be part of your offensive game plan. It has got to be. But when you have young receivers, inconsistent receivers who don't understand, one, the coverage, two, what we're really trying to do with the route and how we're truly trying to attack them, you'll just get basic numbers. You know, there's nothing to brag about. Well, it's like quarterback play. You know, like, hey, it's great that you can extend plays if you're Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis and you can run around and throw bombs. You need to first master the 3-5-step drop, hit your back foot, boom, hit the slant or the dig behind it, go through your progression reads, then you can advance. You know, it's like if you were teaching your kids how to drive, like you need to know how to go at a stop sign versus kind of roll through or how to get somewhere in an extra couple of minutes first, but like know the rules of the road and then you can bend them.
Yeah. You know what? My dad was a cop, homicide, LA detective, all that stuff for the LA County Sheriffs. And he used to always say there's the letter of the law and then there's the spirit of the law. And that's what we're talking about. The letter of the law says you run 10 yards and you turn right. The spirit of the law says, well, you know what? Maybe I should do this. You know, that's the attitude that you need to have. And man, I wish we had time to rip Anthony Richardson. Maybe another show.
Oh, you have your own show, so you can do that. Coach to sub out. All right, defensive player of the year. Christian Gonzalez, I think, is the obvious answer. Are we going to go 3 for 3 here?
Yeah, I mean, who else is a close second?
If there is a second, I don't think it's close because you're looking at all their best defenders are either injured, out, or traded, or on the commissioner's exempt list. And
oh my God, why can't I remember the guy's name? The defensive end. Why am I forgetting his name? He's a psychopath. 99. Yeah, for the Patriots.
I was going to say Keon White is the only other
Keon White, yeah. Sorry, I can't remember. I forgot that name. Yeah, he is. I think he's nuts. What? I think he's in a good way. In a good way. Okay, like he's one of those guys where in a good way. I meant that in a good way. He's one of those guys where you just know he's got bad intentions and you know, and if you disrespect him or somebody he's with, he's going to do something about it. He's the first one in the fight. He's the last one out. He's just willing to do whatever it takes. He started off really strong. He would be my second.
Yeah.
Personally, because I think teams have to identify him. I think teams need to understand where he's at. I think the word is out that he could wreck a play. He can make a play in a timely manner. He could win one-on-one. He's just sometimes he's a little out of control, but I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
I love him though. I love him.
He's would it surprise you to know he's a bouncer? He was a bouncer in college.
Oh yeah. I think so was I. You know, like I think most really? Football players. Oh yeah, most football. Dude, I worked at this country bar in the San Fernando Valley, dude. It was the least country place in the world. But I got my. I know I had a string tie, I had my boots, and it was just the stupidest. It's the worst job in the world, but it's easy for football players because you just kind of look intimidating, and hopefully you think nobody pops off. But I'm not surprised at all that he was a bouncer.
Did anyone pop off on you?
Oh yeah, man. I remember I got to the point and I was like, this bartender was like, "Hey man, you got to kick these guys out." And I said, "Okay, I have to leave." And the guy goes and he gets a tire iron and he's yelling my name to come out and fight him. I'm like, you don't pay me enough money to do this. I wasn't even 21. I was like 20. I lied about my age to get the job. But no, it's a horrible job.
Left to his car to get that.
He went to his car. We
escorted him.
He left.
He was out. He was kicked out.
We escorted him out. Yeah, he didn't like it. It's a terrible environment. Nobody at the end of the night, everybody's either in a really good mood, right, or they're in a really shitty, irritatable mood. And we always got the guys who are in a crappy mood, and they're in a country bar. They all think they're cowboys. There wasn't a horse within 500 miles of this bar. Yeah.
All right. Next time we're going to delve more into those stories because I have so many more questions. But Christian Gonzalez, look, he gave up 0 catches to Devontae Adams. They played a ton of man-to-man coverage. He, like Keon White, I think has been emblematic in a way of the season, right? They both kill it against the Bengals. They both play well against the Jets. They win those games. There are some struggles in between. Christian's been more consistent. I think he's more talented than Keon White. He's your defensive player of the year. So far, it's midseason. Biggest surprise. I'm going to go negative here. It's the run defense. They're 4th worst by Pro Football Focus, 4th worst by DVOA, 4.5 yards a carry. We've all watched it. They've given up over 190 yards in a single game multiple times to bad rushing offenses. This is something that I think even surprised the Patriots because you heard as well as I did. Drake Maye after week 1 go, hey, here's the deal. We're always going to have a good run defense. And look, that's media and that's messaging, and I think he learned from that. And they've had injuries, which are important. The spine of their defense, Barmore, Bentley, Peppers, right down the middle like a baseball team. You can't have those players suck and put on a good product. But they have been lower than suck for stretches this year, as I just said, bottom 5 by a lot of metrics.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was trying to think of a special teams aspect, but I'd still say because it's so cliche. Cliches are there. They're cliches because they're true. They're running the football, stopping the run. If you are incapable of fighting back and you just look just depressed and you just want to give up because you can't do anything about it. They keep running the ball and you can't stop them. You just get demoralized and you feel your self-worth is in the toilet and there's no answer. And so you try a different technique, you do this, different, it just doesn't work. The only reason why they got a break last week because the Jets were stupid and their run offense is not great, but they still didn't want to take advantage of it. So yeah, and that's got to hurt Gerard a lot in Covington a lot because man, listen, I know we got some good receivers out there, and this game is about speed and all these receivers are getting paid all this big money. If we're going to hang our hat on anything, let's just be really good at stopping the run. That's it. If we suck at pass defense, I'm fine with it. What we can't do is let the league know that they can pick on us.
Right.
And that's what they've been doing.
Run fits and just pad level, things that should be non-negotiable and being gap sound or things that they're missing.
Things that they can fix. Things that they can fix that.
And they made progress against the Jets, who had just 4 yards of carry. It went from 5 in the first half to 3 allowed in the second. And so there was progress there. When we talk about the Jets don't have a great running game, that's more to do with the offensive line. It's not Breece Hall. It's not Braylon Allen, who obviously
but still, it's a group F. It's still a group thing, right?
And most of that line stinks in that regard. Honorable mention for a positive, and then we'll get to biggest disappointment. For me, as a safety group without Duggar and Peppers, Del Pettis is an undrafted rookie who's played 112 defensive snaps. You want to guess how many tackles he's missed?
Oh, geez, a lot.
0.
Is
Zero.
that? Oh no,
he's okay. Good. Honorable mention. 0.
Oh, okay, honorable mention. Oh, okay.
Marte Mapu, his first game back off of PUP, wearing the green dot in a game you should have beaten Miami, but they allow 15 points. He plays all of the snaps. Jalen Hawkins been very good in coverage. Dropped the pick that we saw from him, and he's missed some tackles. But that's a guy who was a special teamer. Came in when you're down. Duggar, Peppers is out of the picture now, and those 3 guys have to carry you because this is a nickel defense at its core. I've been impressed. I like what I saw from those guys.
So, man, when I look at their defense, I wish I was playing when these guys were playing. Just tiny little linebackers. There's no punch to anything that they're doing. They're all will linebackers. They're Donnie Edwards. Another blast from the past.
Yeah.
Can I go
Bill
special teams
Carter.
for honorable mention?
Yeah.
Schooler, all day long. He has a lot of pride in his work. He's tough to handle. He shows up all the time. That's the thing. He all the time, and all four and every single aspect of special teams, that guy's showing up. He's a big part of just the overall hope of success. That guy's a keeper.
All right, let's breeze through the last couple here, and we'll get a quick thought on Pat's Titans. Biggest disappointment. I'm going to just go to the receiver room, and this is someone who said this might be a bottom 5 group in the league. But you have 4 or 5 drops against the Jets. Kendrick Bourne is not getting open. KJ Osborne is separating the least of anyone in the league at the catch point. Javon Baker can't see the field. Jalen Polk, I think, will bounce back, but 2 catches and 3 drops in your last 13 targets in your last 3 weeks. This is ugh.
See, I feel like my end is the offensive line, and I feel like we can't pick on them for some reason. I feel like, well, it's like it's 7 or 8 different combinations. They're all new. Some guys just showing up. I shouldn't expect them to be good. I did expect a little bit more from the wide receivers, I'm sure. But again, you had a couple rookies in there, a couple guys that have, free agents, guys that were hurt. I mean, I think it's a toss-up between the offensive line and the receivers. I mean, can I just go push on this one?
Yeah, sure. We again acknowledging that no one expected the offensive line to dominate this year, and you throw in all the injuries. The fact that last Sunday was the first time all season they had a starting lineup that had started the game together before that game, making their second collective start together with a guy at center who wasn't even on the team 4 weeks ago, and Ben Brown.
Well, that's why I feel like they get a break. I feel like we cut them some slack.
And for a similar reason, though these guys are also paid professionals and adults, coaching to me would be in that category too. Biggest disappointment, more defensively. And they've had a ton of injuries, and Covington's new and it's a smaller staff, but like you just expected a little bit better. But I belabored coaching, written about it, criticized in multiple columns. Everyone knows why and how. Let's get to a bold second half prediction. So the Patriots have 9 games left. I don't know if Drake Maye is going to play in all 9. I don't know if he's going to play Sunday as we record here Wednesday, and he's going through concussion protocol. I do think, though, he will at least tie for the team lead in rushing touchdowns by the end of the season on scrambles and garbage time and in some quarterback design stuff that we haven't seen yet. And reminder, Stevenson right now is a 4-touchdown lead on him, Christian. I don't think this is crazy. I think if you are someone who is inclined to play fantasy, pick him up. I know Doug Hyde has. And I think he will finish tied for the team lead, if not lead the team outright in rushing touchdowns.
Wow. Okay, see, because my thing is that once you play, the teams are not going to let him run anymore.
Well, they're going to try. I mean, Hassan Reddick,
it's funny, like it's
rolling out the red carpet.
It's like first. I know, right? What a dope. It's like first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. That whole thing. I just don't think they're going to give him lanes anymore. Hey guys, the guy can run. He's looking to run. Don't do it. I'm going to go negative.
Okay.
Because I still believe it's going to get worse. What I think Drake Maye, and I'll stick with the quarterback too. When you look at who knows when he plays, but I think his interception total is gonna overtake his total touchdown totals, throwing and rushing. I do. Wow. I think he's been lucky. He should have had a pick 6 a couple weeks ago. Should have had 2 interceptions. It's like defense against that London game against Jacksonville. That one of those throws should have been a pick 6. Guy can't hold on to the ball. Then he threw another one. The guy just dropped. That's coming. And I only say that not just to pick on him, because it's just, I hate to always do this, but these rookies are due for this type of just mental breakdown. And maybe because he hasn't started the whole season, maybe he kind of avoids it. And maybe we see it last year, but it happens to all of them. All of them. They just see ghosts. They don't see straight. They get tricked. Defensive coordinators understand how to bait them. They play against a better quarterback that just kind of sees something and they just wait for it. They jump the route. They take it back. That's. I hate to be negative as we end the show, but yeah, I'm going to say that his interceptions, his total interceptions, will So I go, what do you say?
Well,
Rushing
it will be
touchdowns and
higher than
passing.
his total touchdowns, which I think is crazy because I think, as I just said, he's
Are
going
we?
to get a
You
ton of
said
rushing
bold.
touchdowns. But no, it is bold. The point about the 3 interception game coming, that's absolutely true. For him, it's a matter of risk avoidance versus what he's going to find out what he can get away with. Right. For example, like scrambling and throwing that long touchdown or not touchdown pass, long pass to Tyquan Thornton, who dropped it in the first quarter, is an extended play off schedule, rolling out. Maybe I can fit this in 50 yards downfield. Maybe I can't. He found out that he could, which is a positive because the Patriots need plays like that. But it will also embolden him to try things that he shouldn't. And that is where I think you will see some of the interceptions. I don't think this is going to happen over the entire season. But the game that you're talking about, Brady had him in his second year. Peyton Manning led the league in picks his first season. Like it's a rookie thing.
He's got like every kind of qualifier for that game. Inconsistent young receivers who are on and off the field, an offensive line that is all over the place. He's going to end up panicking and be reckless, and he's going to try and make a play. And I would throw in the fact that he's going to scramble and there's going to be a fumble return for a touchdown. That's coming also.
Oh my God. See, when I throw you those lifelines and talk about this has happened, people have done this, and this is why, and it's a good thing. I'm trying to throw you lifeline, not him. Like he'll be fine. Everyone loves him. Everyone loves Drake Maye, self included, as far as a football player and a prospect and what he'll do. But rookie growing pains, you do as well. We're gonna get out of here. All right, two last things. What do you want to see from this team in the second half? The easy answer is win. The easy answer is build a culture, be close, be competitive, yada yada. We know they're going to finish with a losing record, probably by a wide margin. My thing is simple. Just better protection for Drake Maye. This needs to be an environment where you feel like you can evaluate not only him, but the other young players on the team. If you have too many injuries, inconsistent coaching, bad situations, you don't know what you have because they're not put in basically what you would call is like a clean enough lab, right? If you have contamination of all the different samples, whatever you're measuring, and there's a ton of noise or it's just not clean enough, like you need to create a situation. I can evaluate this quarterback. I know what I need to give him and the receivers and the offensive linemen around him.
All right, so I'm not gonna be as technical as you. I just want it to be respectable. I just want it to be competitive. I don't want it to be a laughing stock. I'm fine if you get physically beat up. I'm totally fine with that. What I don't want to see is just pockets here or pockets there or finger pointing. I just want to see if they just show me some fight and it's what I'm looking at is respectable. And all I'm doing is like, well, they just don't have the talent yet, but man, they know what it takes to win. They just don't have the pieces yet. That's all I want to see. That's it. And so far, it hasn't been the case. So the second half of the season, that's what I want to see.
I think that's fair. Speaking of fight, they're going to see a little bit from Tennessee. Titans are 3.5-point favorites as we speak right now, which feels a little bit crazy. But when you look again at the deeper metrics, Patriots are 31st by DVOA overall. They are 2-6. Titans are 1-6. They just lost 52-14 to Detroit because of their league worst special teams. Before that, lost 34-10 to the Bills. Before that, 20-17 at home to the Colts. And before that, 31-12 versus Miami. Their only win this season coming at the expense of the Seahawks. Or excuse me, that's a preseason. We are looking earlier at the Dolphins. So they actually beat the Dolphins 31-12. I can read. They have the 9th best defense by DVOA. Again, their special teams is the worst. Their offense is bottom 5. This is an ugly take the under kind of game. Again, May starting versus Brissett is going to be a big deal. We don't know where that is yet right now as we record. What else are you just looking for here? Understanding they just got spanked. The Patriots are coming off of a win, and this should at very least be a physical football game.
To me, the formula will be the same the entire year. What they need to do, because they're not as talented and they're dealing with so many different issues, if they just, and this is easier said than done, just play what I would call a clean game. Hey, you know what? So big deal. They get a 10-yard return on a punt return. Big deal. Don't have a penalty. Hey, you know what? It's 3rd and 6. Hey, pre-snap, don't have a penalty. Don't make it, harder on ourselves. Defense, you don't have to be great. Just be good. Just be good. Let the other guy make a bunch of mistakes. If their special teams are crap, take advantage of it, exploit it. You just don't give them any short fields and easy opportunities. The reason why they beat the Cincinnati Bengals is because they were opportunistic. The Bengals couldn't get out of their own way. Short fields, turnovers, gave them shorter fields, easier scoring opportunities, and the defense gave themselves a little help. So to me, that's the formula for this team against any team. So you have a team like Tennessee that just got whooped. You're hoping like, are they even into this? Are they like looking at, they're like, oh, what should I do for the offseason? Are their bags packed? Maybe. That's hard to overcome when somebody puts 50 plus on you. You have a hard time looking yourself in the mirror. So I think that all this game is winnable for the Patriots.
Oh,
easily winnable.
Yeah. I'm still looking at the first quarter. I don't think it's an accident. And I understand that they had to overcome Drake Maye leaving the first quarter. When they get that first touchdown, you start fast again, and the Jets answered. But it just gives you a little bit of confidence, like proof of concept. Hey, we can go out here and do this, and to keep it close later, because we know if they're playing from behind, that game, for the most part, is over. Like that's just what it is. And I understand how they finished against the Jets, who, for whatever reason, lost their minds and changed their entire game plan for that last drive after what had largely worked against Jacoby Brissett in the middle quarters. But I think you need to go in there, assert some control over the game, dictate terms to them, and make Mason Rudolph or Will Levis, whoever it is, catch up and play from behind. Because the first team that has to do that, I think, is in real trouble.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And what I would say, the other aspect, see, if Drake Maye's not playing, the past couple of games, it's been run. First series for the Patriots offense, run, obvious third down pass. No gain, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. I would start out in 2 tight end sets. I would flex them out, and I would throw the freaking ball.
Yeah,
that's what I would do. I would let them match you. I think that's your best position, like your best offensive group is the 2 tight end set.
Little 7-yard stick route, but if you want to take it, if you want to improvise, Hunter Henry, you do your thing, man, because you have earned that with the official midseason Offensive Player of the Year award from Christian Fauria and yours truly. It's been great to have you back, man. I can't wait to chat again. Coach to Win is the new show, but you can't find bartender stories here. They will only be on the next time when we have you back. Oh, bartender, yep. Excuse me, bouncer.
I wish I was a bartender. Hell, that was easier. Yeah, no, bouncer. Yeah, we'll do that next time. Honest to God, we'll just call it uncomfortable stories from my past.
Okay. This is not therapy. If it is, I'm going to charge you more for that episode. So, appreciate you, buddy.
All right, buddy. Sounds good.
Special Halloween edition of the 4-Minute Drill here with Christian Gonzalez, who I just informed. It's also a special edition because we've crowdsourced some questions. We have questions from your teammates. You don't know what they want me to ask you, but I think you're going to enjoy it, and they're going to go right off the top. So here we go. Question number 1. How much money do you spend on TikTok?
On TikTok? Ooh. I actually just made an order like probably an hour ago.
What'd you buy?
What did I buy? Bought some snacks, a rug, some decorations for the house. TikTok got some good stuff on there.
All right. When you're at home, you're playing Call of Duty. Someone wants to know, why are you so bad?
Who asked this one?
Can't tell you.
Hey, crazy. Last night I did have a bad game, but majority of the time I'm out there stepping.
All right, last one. You won't guess who this is from. If you get 10 reps against Pop Douglas, why are you losing all 10?
He crazy. That's why he ain't asked me. But he gonna win some. But I like me over him.
Okay. In the spirit of Halloween, what spooks Christian Gonzalez the most?
What speaks me the most? I don't know.
Nothing? Spiders, snakes, a guy running to the end zone who's too far away for even you to catch up and watch?
Yeah, giving up touchdowns.
How about KB? Because he's over there making noise. Is he scary at all?
Nah.
Okay. Not many people know this. Your brother-in-law is David Blau, ex-quarterback in the NFL, now coaching with Washington. How badly would you like to intercept your brother-in-law?
Oh, yeah, of course. I would want to. That would be crazy. He wouldn't like it, obviously. I mean, I wish I got the chance, but it's all right.
Any backyard games with the family?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We always talk smack, me and him.
Did you pick him in the backyard?
I probably have sometime. I don't remember, but he ain't complete nothing on me.
Okay. Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
No? All right. What's the worst advice a coach ever gave you?
Worst advice a coach ever gave me?
Could be any sport, any level, anything. Something simple, and you're like, that just ain't right the second you heard it.
you have to be able to lift a lot of weight to be a good football player.
Oh, well, there you go. What's the least amount of weight you can do? Like, yeah, you're obviously plenty athletic speed. This is not a test of your manhood. You just admitted, in some degree, you can't lift a whole lot. Bench is what? Like, what are you maxing out at? Yeah.
I ain't maxed out in a long time. I don't know. We don't, once you get out of high school, you don't really max out. I mean, in college, I couldn't tell you. I ain't maxed out probably in about 4 years. So.
All right, there you go. Let's go with this one. If you could hit this teammate every day in practice, who would it be?
Dial. Marcellus.
A fellow corner. Wow. Defense on defense crime. Why Marcellus? He's a rookie.
It's my young buck. I gotta get him right.
All right. Christian Gonzalez is out at a bar, or he's out at the movies. He's out anywhere. What's his best pickup line aside from "I play for the New England Patriots"?
Oh, you ain't getting that out of me. I ain't bringing nothing football related up.
Nothing. We just talked about ghosts and lifting. Oh, you're saying at the bar, or the club. You're not bringing up that you play at all.
No, not at all.
Okay. So what do you say?
I don't know. It depends. Probably. I don't know. I ain't saying nothing.
Okay.
I'll let them approach.
You'll let them approach. Okay, plain and cool. Teammates always say, I want this teammate to have my back in the trenches. This is a dog. He'll have my back. Who is that number one teammate for you? Or you can go the opposite. Who's at the end of the list? And guys have answered this question before. Who do you want least having your back in the trenches?
I'll go the first one, Keon.
Keon. All right, self-explanatory. Two more real quick. We got 5 seconds left in the 4-minute drill. Do you have a Gerard Mayo impression?
Nah, I ain't got one.
Smart man. All right, least favorite media question.
Somebody, this happened recently, that when we went to London, they asked me about if people ate bad food. I don't know, that was a bad question.
Okay.
It got nothing to do with me, nothing to do with football, so I mean, it was just pointless.
I did see that clip. Shout out to Rich and Keefe and Adam Jones at WEI. Enough about the bad food in London, though that also might have been, he left, Kendrick Bourne's fault. Christian Gonzalez wants the ladies to know you got to come to him. Otherwise, he will be all over you on the football field. I appreciate you, man. Patriots Shutdown Corner.